was on there. Maybe I was, but I didn't. All right, good afternoon. I've got 2:01, so like a good military committee, we will start on time. So I appreciate everybody showing up. At this time, I'd like to call on Representative McCollum to open us up in a word of prayer. What number are you? 25. 25.
Dear Lord, I want to thank you for this day. Thank you for this fellowship. Thank you for everything you do for us. Help us make the right decision on everything we do for the rest of the session. In God's name, Jesus Christ, amen.
Thank you. All right, today we're going to be taking up one bill. We've got Senate Bill 21 by Senator Kay Kirkpatrick. Senator, are you ready to present? And while she's coming up, I would just like to recognize our Deputy Adjutant General, Joe Ferraro, who is with us today. General Tom Carden was not able to get back in time due to a weather delay, and so we're going to reschedule him, hopefully when we get the full committee so everybody can get an update on the Guard. So with that, Senator, are you ready? We've got in front of us LC 460530S. Great. Well, whenever you're ready, Senator.
Thank you so much. Hopefully this won't be too controversial. You probably know that we have a Veteran Service Board that makes recommendations to the governor's office and also to the commissioner. But there's also a different board called the Veteran Service Foundation Board, and that was formed in 2019. The entire purpose of that board is to raise money for veteran causes. We know that we don't have all the services that we need. We know we're behind on the number of nursing homes and things like that. And not all that can be filled with state money. Nothing can ever be all the way filled with state money. So this foundation board was formed with that purpose. The problem is that the way the thing was structured, they have raised a grand total of $500 since the inception of the foundation board. And so the commissioner had recommended that we make changes to the structure to allow some more outside people to come in. They're increasing the membership of the board to a range of 7 to 13 people who are not the people that are serving on the Veterans Service Board that I mentioned earlier. These are people from the community, and this allows it allows a few people to serve who have not been active duty military in the past, because they're family members and other people who are passionate about veterans issues who have not served, and so we wanted to allow for that. The other thing that this does is it shortens the terms so that you can get new blood who, when you tap out all your sources of raising funds, you can get some new people in who can find some new sources. And then it also requires them to meet quarterly instead of one time a year. It's hard to imagine a board who has that purpose that would only meet annually. And so it's a pretty simple bill. This was requested by the commissioner. The reason there's a sub is because we wanted to be sure the commissioner couldn't appoint herself to the board, and so that was changed in the bill. But hopefully it will lead us to the ability to provide more services for our veterans, and that's the entire purpose of the bill, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, Senator. 27.
Yeah, Senator, who makes the appointments on these boards? The commissioner does, or the governor, or?
The commissioner can make those appointments, and the people can succeed themselves, but the commissioner of the department appoints a chief executive officer, a chief operating officer, and a chief financial officer. And nobody on that board is compensated.
Any other questions? All right. Representative McCollum?
I guess I'm curious about, obviously, the issue is raising money for the foundation. How would we know? Is it just the Commissioner of Veteran Services that appoints the board? And then my other question is how can we get business people on there I don't know how you'd steer that toward maybe some CEOs or something like that that are good at raising money, obviously, and not just I don't mean by normal folks. You know what I mean? I know we got people that's veterans, but obviously we need more people that are. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. That's exactly why this was opened up, to allow some
Right.
people who didn't actively serve to be on the foundation board, because that's the type of people that hopefully we could get interested in serving on this foundation board.
Okay. And then how would we, if that commissioner is the only one that points, how are we going to steer it toward that? Or, that might be too much in the weeds, but I'm just curious.
Well, I just think from getting to know the new Commissioner of Department of Veteran Services, she's very interested in structuring this foundation board so that it does include people who can raise money and who are connected in the community. So I don't really have any concerns. I think that she will manage that process very well, because we definitely have things that need to be done on behalf of veterans. And we had actually a subcommittee this summer on the state veteran nursing homes. Mm-hmm. And we can talk about that another time, but it's clear that we've got a deficit there and in many other areas that we need to work on. So that really was her recommendation about how to restructure the board to allow us to raise more money for veterans causes.
All right. Thank you, Senator.
And if I'm correct, Senator, the way it works is that the commissioner can appoint, but it's the ultimate approval is with the Veteran Service Board for these individuals. Correct. So there is a bit of checks and balances in that, in terms of the commissioner making that recommendation and the Veteran Service Board signing off ultimately on those members. So, Representative Gladney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You had indicated that the individuals that will be procured to serve on this board would not be paid individuals. Is that correct?
Correct.
And one of the entries here in the bill indicates that the board would be funded through the process of competitive grant process. How do you procure the services of a professional grant writer without having someone that you pay to do that? How would you staff a person that writes professional grants or goes out and researches for professional grants, large grants, if that person has not been skilled to do that, and how do you pay them to do that?
Thank you for the question. I do believe that the department is actively trying to get competitive grants on a regular basis, and so they have someone in the department who does grant writing. And so I didn't ask that specific question, but I'm going to assume that they would utilize the services that they have in the house already to do that, and that would not require any additional funds.
But you had indicated before that they only had received $500 at present.
Correct.
And so that was because of the limitation of the law, or?
I think it's the way the board was structured to begin with, which is why we're trying to expand the membership, bring in some outside people, and have them meet more often than once a year, because it's, I don't know if you've ever been on a foundation board. I have, and most of the foundation boards meet quite regularly, some even monthly. And so it's important to do that, to kind of keep those conversations going and to look for new sources of donations.
But the grant writer is a staff person with the Department of Veteran Services, not just on this board.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, at this time, the chair will entertain any motions. Do pass. We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The bill moves on to rules.
Thank you, and I was hoping, Mr. Chair, that you'd be willing to carry the bill.
I'd be honored, Senator. I appreciate the recommendation.
Thank you so much. I'm sure you have forms to fill out.
Well, we've got some stuff to color. That's how we do it over here in the House.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. That being all the business in front of us today, anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? If not, we stand adjourned.